The story of Dennis Smith, a love that overcame war. Chapter 1, The Solitary Farmer. Dennis Smith was born in 1919 in Provo, Utah, into a humble family of farmers. Life on the farm was solitary, defined by a demanding work routine and the absence of friends. Despite being kind-hearted and possessing a generous spirit, Dennis never felt truly connected to his parents. Their relationship was distant and cold, shaped by his father's strict adherence to discipline. Deep down, Dennis knew life could be different. He felt he could offer more, not just to his parents but also to himself. However, he couldn't quite understand what this yearning meant. Days on the farm were spent tending beehives, producing honey, a small passion that brought him solace amid his isolation. Yet, his soul ached with the weight of loneliness, longing for something more, a connection he could neither define nor find. Chapter 2, The Call to Duty. At 18, Dennis was called to serve his country during World War II. His parents were stunned by the news, but despite their emotional distance, they urged him to fulfill his duty. Dennis was sent to the front lines in Italy, specifically to a small village, during a turbulent time as Italy transitioned from Mussolini's regime to becoming an allied nation. Amid the chaos of war, Dennis found himself among soldiers focused solely on defeating the enemy, often disregarding the collateral damage their actions caused. But Dennis viewed the war differently, with a sense of humanity that set him apart. Chapter 3, The Moral Stand. On his first mission, Dennis and his comrades were ordered to attack a weapons depot in the village of Porto Rosso. However, his fellow soldiers had more destructive intentions. They wanted to obliterate not just the depot but also the village's businesses, churches, and homes. Dennis recognized the devastation this would bring to innocent civilians. When he heard the cries of children from a nearby building, he couldn't stay silent. He confronted his comrades and persuaded them to focus solely on destroying the weapons depot. His refusal to support the broader destruction earned him the ire of his battalion. After a heated argument, his superiors made the cruel decision to abandon Dennis, labeling him a traitor. Left alone in the freezing European winter, Dennis faced a bleak and uncertain fate. Chapter 4, Rescued by the Italian Girl. What Dennis didn't know was that a young Italian woman, Letitia, had been watching through a small window of her family's shop. Seeing his plight, she knew she had to help. Once the soldiers left, Letitia ventured out to find Dennis and offered him shelter. Though they couldn't communicate, Dennis didn't speak Italian and Letitia didn't know English. An undeniable connection formed between them. Through exchanged glances and gestures, they found a way to understand each other. Over time, Letitia began teaching Dennis Italian, while he taught her English. This bond grew and Letitia's family cautiously welcomed Dennis into their home, initially skeptical but eventually warming to him. Chapter 5, A New Life in Italy. To stay with Letitia's family, Dennis worked in their small vineyard. At first, the farming reminded him of his unfulfilled life back in Utah, a path he had hoped to leave behind. However, his love for Letitia gave him strength. Gradually, Dennis adapted to Italian life, learning to appreciate fine wine, savor authentic pasta, and even embrace soccer, a sport he quickly grew to love. Despite these new experiences, Dennis missed his family in Utah deeply. Yet, being part of Letitia's family showed him a warmth and openness he had never known. Her parents were loving and expressive, speaking loudly, gesturing animatedly, and even using colorful language in a way that Dennis found both strange and endearing. In their home, love was visible and freely expressed, a stark contrast to the reserved environment he grew up in. This new way of living reshaped Dennis's understanding of family and affection. Chapter 6, Love and Longing. Years later, Dennis and Letitia received life-changing news. Letitia was pregnant with twins, Beatrice and Alicia. With the arrival of their daughters, Dennis felt torn between his desire to return to Utah and the love he had found in Italy. Ultimately, he chose to stay with Letitia and their children, embracing his new family and the life they had built together. After saving enough money, Dennis decided it was time to reconnect with his roots. He, Letitia, and their daughters boarded a ship to the U.S. and traveled to Utah. Chapter 7, The Ghost of the Past. Upon arriving in Salt Lake City, Dennis discovered a memorial for World War II soldiers. To his shock, his name was inscribed among those declared dead. The realization that his family believed he had died in combat was overwhelming. When he finally reunited with his parents, the emotional reunion brought tears and healing. Though time and distance had taken their toll, the love between them endured, rekindled by Dennis's return. Chapter 8, Redemption and Renewal. The U.S. Army eventually uncovered the error that had led to Dennis being declared dead. They issued a formal apology to him and his family, acknowledging their mistake and awarding him a substantial compensation. They also invited Dennis to rejoin the military with honors, but he declined. His heart now belonged to the family and life he had built in Italy. Chapter 9: A Taste of Italy in Utah. With the indemnity money, Dennis opened Utah's first Italian restaurant, naming it Milan after his favorite Italian soccer team. The restaurant quickly became a community favorite, beloved for its authentic cuisine and welcoming atmosphere. Dennis had brought a piece of Italy to Utah, not just through food but through the love and warmth that had transformed his life. Chapter 10: The Victory of Love. Dennis had gone to war to serve his country but discovered something far more profound: love. Letitia's kindness saved him from the loneliness of war, and their family became his greatest victory. The restaurant symbolized the new life Dennis had forged, a life shaped by resilience, love, and the lessons of two cultures. In sharing his journey, Dennis showed that even amid the devastation of war, love could heal and transform, creating a legacy of hope and connection for generations to come. We hope you enjoyed this heartwarming story of Dennis Smith and his journey of love, resilience, and transformation. If you found this story inspiring, let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories and exciting content. Make sure to check out the other videos we've already posted. There's so much more to explore. And if you think your friends or family would love this story too, share it with them. Together, we can spread these tales of inspiration and history to even more people. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.